Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second Monday conference of the National Electoral Commission in the NEC Electoral Studio Parliamentary Elections of 2019. This conference brings together Wiesław Kozielewicz, Deputy Chairman of the NEC, members of the NEC Judge Grzegorz Jędrejek, Judge Wojciech Kręcisz, Judge Wojciech Sych, Head of the National Electoral Office, Secretary of the NEC, Ms. Magdalena Pietrzak. Over to you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Let me announce the data from 27,275 electoral commissions. That is over 99% of commissions. We are only missing 140 commissions data. 3 commissions from Great Britain and 1 commission from Germany. This is over 99% of commissions. If we take into account the data we have received so far, 227,415 district commissions, we can see that the results are the following. Law and Justice has received over 8 million votes, which is 43.76%. Civic Coalition, 4,983,821 votes, which is 27.24%. Democratic Left Alliance, 2,290,848 votes, which is 12.52%. Polish People's Party, 1,569,014 votes, 8.58%. Confederation, Freedom and Independence, over 1 million votes. That equals 6%, 79. Non-partisans and local government activists, 144,569%, 0.79%. As for the German minority, 32,094 votes, which equals 0.18%. The efficient of Piotr Liroy-Marzec, 18,918 votes, 0.10%. Disappointed retirees and pensioners, 0.03%. As well as the United Right, 0.01% of votes. We have also received reports on incidents that happened yesterday before 9 p.m. or on the night of Sunday. All these incidents were related to yesterday's election day. Let me mention some more interesting incidents that happened. 40 past midnight in Łódź. Broke 2 windows of one of the commissions. He was immediately arrested, and this is being investigated. Today at 6 a.m., while one of the district commissions was working, one of the members decided to add his own note to the protocol, and he wrote the following word, lie. Of course, he has the right to disagree with the decisions of the Commission. However, this is not the place. This was reported to the police, and the police acted on it. We have also received several reports of disturbing the peace. Those mostly considered the tearing down of political banners, 1 or 2 cases in Warsaw, and 1 case in Katowice, and 1 in Lublin. Just before the polling stations were closed, we have received reports, 5 reports of political canvassing in Warsaw and in Lublin. Now the conclusion for the headquarters of the police. This concerns the means involved. From the 12th of October 2019, 6 a.m., to today's date, 10 a.m., the following number of citizens were involved. 53,638 functionaries of police, 266 police dogs, and 2 horses. What will be the following process? What will be the procedure of the Commission? We are waiting from the data related to the protocols from district electoral commissions. As soon as we receive all the protocols from 41 constituencies, we will determine the thresholds. Then we will hold a conference on these thresholds, and we will tell you which committees exceeded the thresholds. Afterwards, the constituency commissions will be called again. They will draw up protocols once again. As soon as those protocols come to our headquarters, and we control them, we check their validity, we will be able to draw up a statewide, Poland-wide protocol. We will officially announce the results in the protocol. We will publish them on our website and in the Journal of Laws. We hope, unless there are any emergencies, I believe that in the early evening we will be able to announce the results. The biggest problem concerns the 4 constituencies, 4 districts abroad. Chairman Marciniak told you at one of the previous conferences that we need to wait 24 hours. That is until 9 p.m. or even 10 p.m. due to time zones. If we have not received protocols until then, of course we will be able to draw up a protocol, but we will have to not include the districts, and we are blocked in our procedures until then. If the 4 districts send us the protocol in the appropriate time frame, we will be able to announce the official election results. You always ask me for the exact time when we will be able to announce the results, but it is very challenging as it is unpredictable. There are 136 protocols statewide where mistakes were detected. This may concern the incorrect placement of a stamp. This may concern arithmetical mistakes. I remember, for example, one election in which a candidate received 1 vote and 6 other candidates received 0 votes each. But the list, according to the Commission, received 2 votes overall. So this was obviously a mistake. In these cases, the Commission needs to be called again. Of course, we have IT systems that alert the Commission that certain mistakes have been made. Still, the Commission is able to draw up a protocol despite of the detection of such mistakes. Still, we may not accept such a protocol. It has to be rejected and the Commission has to be called again. This also depends on how long it will take for the members of the Commission to assemble again, and also how far away the Commission is from the Commission that is checking the validity of the protocols. We need to approve the protocols from the constituency commissions, and until we do that, we cannot announce the official results. We believe that the period between the threshold conference and the official conference should not be too long. But of course, we have to prepare ourselves because we will have a lot to read. Still, I promise that I will not read out all of the data, all of the names. I will only enumerate those deputies who have been allocated seats in the Sejm, and only the most substantial data. I believe that reading out the entire document, which can also be found on our website and in the Journal of Laws, would take about 4 hours. So let me just announce the most important results. Unless your wish is for me to read the entire document, I will only need 2 bottles of water and a glass. Of course, everything will also be published on the website and in the Journal of Laws. Do you have any questions? Questions, any remarks? TVP Info, Monika Woźniak. I would like to ask you in which regions the commissions that haven't sent the protocols are not situated. This is statewide in different regions of Poland. There are certain regions where some commissions were missing 1 protocol, others were missing 3 or 4, and this does not influence the situation because they still cannot draw up a protocol in general. Another question. Natalia Żyto. I would like to ask you about the scope of mistakes. On the internet we could see pictures showing that some people marked an X next to the symbol of the committee, for example in the case of the Civic Coalition. Ladies and gentlemen, as for invalid votes, we will receive the results after we have received all the protocols from the commissions. However, we believe that the number of invalid votes should be comparable to that in the most recent elections. And I believe that during the last elections we saw a record of the number of invalid votes. It was really minimal, I mean. During these elections, we had 1 ballot paper instead of a booklet, and this made it simpler for the voter. The voter only needed to mark an X next to the name of one candidate to the Sejm and next to the name of one candidate to the Senate. Did the members of the commissions inform you about any such mistakes? No, we were not informed about such mistakes. I was in office yesterday in order to receive reports of any mistakes, of any incidents, for example, somebody forgetting their keys, not being able to access the station. I was also in my office tonight. I haven't had such a peaceful election night for a long time. I did not receive any important notice from the commissions concerning mistakes or obstacles. I was pleasantly surprised. It was very peaceful. There were 3 of us in the office, and there were practically no reports of the commissions not understanding something or having issues filling out the protocols. This pleasantly surprised me. I would only like to add that as for the information you're asking about, of course, we also saw those pictures on the internet. However, we will not receive such information. We will only receive aggregate results on invalid votes, but we will not receive the information concerning the reasons for the invalid vote. As for now, we are only focusing on valid votes. As soon as we have drawn up all the protocols from constituency commissions, we will be able to determine that. TOK FM, I have a question. Let me refer to your questions as well as your answers. Does this mean that the vote is invalid if someone has marked the X next to the symbol? Let me answer. Only an X sign marked next to the name of a candidate will be considered valid. We believe that the procedure here is transparent and clear. I would only like to add that if it turns out that somebody marks an X only next to the name of one candidate, but also, for example, next to the symbol, it will still be considered valid because it's only an addition that does not invalidate the vote. However, if it's only marked next to the graphic symbol of a committee, then it will be invalidated. Any further questions? Good afternoon, Polsat News. I would like to ask you about the 4 foreign commissions. What are the locations of those commissions, and would you like to know, would you like to tell us when we will be able to know the results? Well, let me address this question. I believe that when we refer to the early evening, the time frame is 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. You know, this also depends on the time zone differences. We will have to wait for all the commissions. We will have to wait until we have received all the protocols. If these protocols are drawn up correctly and they do not need to be returned to the commissions, we will be able to announce them all. However, if that is not the case, we will already have data from other constituency commissions. We need 41 protocols from constituency commissions and 100 protocols from commissions that are reviewing the Senate votes. I need that in order to announce aggregate results in Poland. As for foreign commissions, let me ask. Those are 3 commissions, I believe. Not in London, no. Bristol and the south of England, and Nuremberg in Germany. Any further questions? Are the conferences on 6:30 and 9:30 still in place? Yes, definitely the threshold conference. No, we are not holding a conference on 6:30. When we are planning the conference on thresholds, our presenter will call you in order to notify you. Here the room is accessible to everyone. Thank you for your attention. We will inform you about next conferences. Any further questions? TVN24. I would like to refer to the ballot papers and their design. We believe that the voting system in Poland is very simple. The instructions are very, very simple. As for the exact mark that has to be placed on the ballot, it has been practiced in Poland for over 30 years. Usually this just concerns a certain mistake of the voter. Even those who are in preschool are able to cast their vote correctly, and this was actually practiced in the last few years. We conducted tests. I'm sorry, but I don't understand how an adult person may not understand these instructions. Yes, indeed, there were no such instructions in the pre-war period. However, in the pre-war period, a voter only had to write on their paper the number 2. For example, if they wanted to vote for list number 2, then they went up to the commissions and the voter received only a ballot for the given list, and he was only to cast a vote without any surnames. He couldn't even touch the ballot box. It was considered sacred. So he put the ballot paper in an envelope, and the head of the commission cast it into the ballot box. And there were, for example, envelopes on which there were different numbers, then the vote was invalidated. If the number was identical, the number was valid, so there were fewer procedures. But the voter was dependent on the decision of party committees. It was the party that decided which number of the list was allocated to each candidate. So then the don't voting system was used to allocate the seats. Now we have introduced the X sign. Actually, this was introduced in the People's Republic of Poland. And then, for example, in during Józef Piłsudski's reign, there was another way of voting, which was just for one committee. It was possible to vote for a committee. In our case, you can only vote for a candidate, and of course you are voting for the list as well, but you need to mark the X sign next to the candidate, and this has been in place in Poland for over 30 years. I would like to add that the problem you are reporting on is not the duty of the National Electoral Commission. The symbol of the Civic Coalition is not for the National Electoral Commission to control and approve. Graphical symbols may be added to the list. However, this is not our duty to control it, and the design of the ballot paper has no influence on this. It is as good as it gets. The person who asked the question was not using the microphone. The committees submitted their symbols to us. Yes, all the symbols were chosen by the committees. This was the committee's design, we just complied. Another question? Just a technicality. You mentioned that today's conference in the evening would concern the thresholds. The official results will be announced tomorrow? No, we believe we will be able to do so today. First, we will hold a conference on the thresholds. And then, after we have received all the documentation from the 41 constituency electoral commissions, we will be able to determine the results. Let me tell you that the seats are allocated by constituency commissions. Polish television. Yes, as for the turnout, I would like to ask you about the turnout. We are no longer reporting on the turnout. The results of the voting is the turnout. Of course, we will determine the turnout after we have received all the protocols, and we will announce it at the final conference. Probably a record will be set based on our website. However, those are not aggregate results, they are just partial. Thank you. The next conference will be held later, and we will inform you about the exact time. Thank you.